Hey class, my name is Jarrett, and today I'm going to be talking about rock climbing and overcoming fear. Now imagine you're Alex Honnold, 3,000 feet up on the sheer granite face of El Capitan. You've got no rope, no partner, you're just trusting your hands and your feet. Now I've been rock climbing for over a year, but I don't think I'll ever be that ambitious or crazy to get to that man's level. Whether or not you do rock climbing, we've all faced times in our lives where we have to overcome and face our fears. Some people are afraid of different things. Some people are afraid of rock climbing, heights. Others are of random shark attacks, and maybe even of public speaking. We're all afraid of something, but overcoming that fear is what really matters. Then be talking about 3 stages of rock climbing development that I've gone through, starting with top rope climbing, lead climbing in the gym, and finally climbing outdoors in the beautiful state of Arizona. So, to start off, top rope climbing. What is it? First time I got into the gym, I was greeted with the sight of the 50-foot tall wood-paneled wall with holds of bright-colored plastic and people dangling off of them on long, skinny ropes. And I knew this is something I really wanted to do. So, I took the class. So, basically, top roping, the setup is you've got a rope going down, tied to your harness. You're the climber, going up to a anchor. It's like a cylinder, a metal cylinder that's bolted to the top of the wall, and it goes down to the belayer. As you climb up, the belayer takes the rope out, and there's no tension, there's no slack in the system, rather. So if you fall, you're just gonna fall a couple inches as the rope stretches. Nothing really scary about it. However, I say that, but the first time you're up there at the top of the route, you've got to let go and trust your belayer. Because what's the instinct here? You let go, you're going to fall. But that's where you learn to trust. You trust your belayer, you trust the equipment, and you trust yourself. And that was the first lesson I learned in climbing. Trust. Now, the next thing is where things get a little bit spicier. Lead climbing. Lead climbing is where you are attached to the rope and the belayer as usual. However, there's nothing at the top. You've got to clip the rope in as you go. So where it gets scary is as you climb above the bolt. If you fall, you are going to fall. The higher you are, the longer you fall. As a class, the class that we took, we had to practice taking the fall. You climb up about 7 anchors, so each are about maybe 5 feet apart, so good like 30 feet up. You climb above the anchor about 5 feet, and then you let go. 5 feet above the anchor is going to give you a fall of about 12 to 13 feet. So it's double the length that you fall plus a rope stretch. Now this part is genuinely scary, because up until now, if you let go, you just dangle. But now you're really going to have to fall. You got to trust. And let me tell you, one girl in the class, she was up there for at least 5 minutes until her grip just finally gave out. And, well, she passed the class, because she took the whip, she took the fall. She was all right. All of this was in preparation, I feel like, for the final stage, which is climbing outside. This is the real deal. I got to tell you, when I got this chance to come to Arizona, I took it. I didn't even hesitate. There was some beautiful rock in this area, and I couldn't wait to climb it. Rock climbing outside, though, is a different game altogether. You got to be a lot smarter about how you do it. So there's 4 main considerations when you're climbing outside that you need to be aware of. First is the run out. That's the distance between the bolts. In a gym, it's not going to be any more than 5 feet on general, so the fall is very controlled. Outside, though, it could be 10 feet, 15 feet I've even seen, maybe even 20 feet. So if you're up there, say you've got 20 feet toward the last bolt, you're making that move, you're just hanging on by your fingertips, you're pulling up the rope to get it into the anchor, and then you fall. You could be facing a 50, 60-foot fall, and you're going to keep on going until you hit something where the rope comes tight. If there's a ledge underneath you, you're going to hit that. You could break your ankles or worse. So you got to be very, very careful. Another consideration is the hardware itself. These bolts and these anchor chains, they've been out in the weather for, could be years. Some of them are rusty, some of them are loose, and you've really got to evaluate them as you climb. If it looks really loose, tighten it up. If it's too rusty, you might have to quit that route. It just might not be safe. Another consideration, rope damage. You're climbing around all these winds and turns, your rope could be running over sharp, jagged rock. And if you're not careful, that rope could cut. Modern climbing rope is very strong. However, it has happened, and the results can be catastrophic. Finally, you're climbing in remote areas, and help might not be readily available. You're really on your own, so you've got to know some basic first aid skills and just have a plan on getting out if the worst thing happens. In conclusion, climbing for me has been a progression of facing and overcoming my fears. First of all was trust in the equipment and trust in myself. Second was learning to take a fall and just embracing that pure feeling of panic and terror and working through that. Finally, it's the logistics and the planning that takes to get a good outdoor climbing session in. In the end, I think I don't do this for the adrenaline sport. I'm not a thrill seeker. I just do it. I love the feeling of control and power that you have, that you can get from doing these very delicate and intricate moves to get up to the top of a cliff. As Alex Honnold's best friend, Tommy Caldwell, said, adrenaline is not a good thing, actually. If you're scared, if you're pumped up like that with adrenaline, you're probably in a bad place. Just think before you climb. Think while you're climbing, and think till you get to the ground. That's it. Thanks for listening to my speech.